One main world, one creation dream.
Alright, so that's it. As you see, now you can still play, attack the enemy stronghold, and you can do more colors, okay? So that depends on you guys. I highly advise you to have the same setups that I got here. Now, let's continue with the game, okay? So let me go back to the screen so you will be able to see me. Hello guys, hello back. And let's start by creating those scripts, okay? So, let's move to triggers and we are going to create a new trigger, okay guys? So select add the new trigger and the name for the new trigger, guys, is going to be gold, okay? So, literally, that's what our trigger is going to do. So we are going to use the name to be very descriptive and be very easy to know what it's going to do, okay? So first, we are going to do an action, okay? And the action is going to be flyer, and flyer enters to area. Remember that at the beginning, we create an area for every one of our different scores. So we are going to use those, okay? So we are not going to create like a lot of different actions here. If we weren't doing this, that was to set up the database before the game starts in the class number 2, when we set up all these variables, we should probably have to create a lot of different triggers. For this one, as we already create that, we only need one for all the teams, okay? So the first action is going to be that one, but in the execution, you are not going to select an area. Instead of that, you are going to select function library. And in function library, you are going to select flyer private variable, okay? And on there, we are going to have already created an area. The area that we are going to have, that we already got, is and this one that says TM original code, okay? So on there, just select variables, and on there, you have the one that says team region goal, okay? That is going to be the goal that we set up in the third or the fourth class. Now, you are going to check or be sure that only is going to work when the player is in game status number 2. So how do you do that? Just hit add, select math, numerical comparison, and remember that we always got the game stages by numbers, okay? So number 0 is where you can buy some items. Number 1 is where you can put your scenario, and number 3 is when you can fight with the other players, okay? So, game status, it's going to be equals to number 2, okay? That's very important. So, remember, game status is a variable that we already create. Then, first thing that we are going to do is to change the game status as 3, so players won't be able to continue scoring again until the game changes, okay? So, that's very important, guys. We are going to do that. So, how do you do that? Just select game status, and for that, as this is a variable, a number variable, we are going to change it just by scrolling down, select assigned in new actions, and you are going to select value setup, okay? So now you need to select which value we are going to change. So just in the first frame, you are going to select value, the one that says game status, and you are going to change it by game status number 3, okay? So that's the first thing. With this, only one player is going to do one score. Even if the players are very, very, very close to each other, they are going to make only one score, okay? So that's going to avoid a lot of problems. Next, we need to reduce the amount of time that is going to just to continue for this game stage. So we have to change the timer time, okay? The timer that controls the time. So you are going to hit a new one. Then we are going to scroll down and we are going to select timer. In timer, we are going to select change timer timing, okay? So once you made that, once you change the timer time, you need to select first the variable that we are going to change. Remember that we are using a variable, name it game start, to handle all the games. So we are going to use that timer, okay? And then we are going to set it up as 50. That means that first there is going to be 50 seconds for this stage. Remember, this stage is not going to last that long. It's something that we just made for make players feel that actually game is working. So just let's change that, okay? Now, when we got this, now we are going to do the small screen in the top that you see that tells the players that some players made a goal. So how do you do that? You add new action. The action is going to be to set up a character string. So you just scroll down to assign and select set up character string. Okay, that's very important, guys. We already made in the first or the second class something that handles automatically the text in the top. So just by changing one variable, you are going to have that variable with the new name, okay? So the name that we are going to use for this one is actually kind of tricky. It's different from the others because we are going to tell the game this player made a goal, okay? But also we are going to make the player's name to just a blink, so it's going to be very, very impressive for the players. How do you do that? First, remember we got a specific function in text, so you select here, function, and you are going to select concatenations, guys. Concatenations is just to mix or to mesh together two different texts. So you can take as an example the player name, then the player amount of blocks that it has, and then you place a custom text, and together it's going to be only one text. That's what we are going to do. So once you select the string concatenation, you are going to have two different frames in which you can put the different content, okay? So in the first one, we are going to select again string concatenations, okay? So just once more in the first frame, select string, and you are going to select string concatenation. So you are going to have in total three different texts that we are going to connect. So in the first frame that comes from the second concatenation, you are going to open that frame and you are going to put the next information. First, you need to put the color. In my case, it's going to be green. Remember, pound or hashtag or I don't know how you call it in your language, because in English this symbol is hashtag for networks and it's pound for normal numbers. Okay, so use pound and the letter T in uppercase. Remember, you need to use the letter of whatever color you have. As an example, if you want to put a yellow on it, just put the uppercase Y. If you want to put a red on it, just put uppercase R. And then you are going to put another pound, another one of those, and you are going to put a lowercase b, okay? So lowercase b is going to be blink, uppercase b is going to be blue, okay? So this one is going to make the next text. The text that we put next to it is going to be blinking, and that's what we are going to do. You're going to see that it seems completely empty, but it's not empty, okay? So in the second part of the second concatenation, you are going to put the player name. So just like function, player, and player name. So right now it's going to make blink the player name, but it's not going to tell anything to the game because we didn't put any content here. So just open the last one, the third one, put input. And once you are in input, you are going to use this one, okay? This one is once more like the tag that we use to change the text. And on this one, you are going to put an N, a lowercase n. A lowercase n is closing all the content before. So if we previously put any kind of color or any kind of effect like blinking, right now with the N, you are going to close that, okay? And then we are going to put what your description. In my case, I put it's goal. That means that the players in the screen are going to see just that information. And now we can make a sound, okay? So remember, it's going to be very cool to show the players like some feedback, so just add sound. That thing that you are hearing right now is another animal that is around this area. It's a big beard. But I don't remember how it's being called. What happened is that around this area there is a lot of small lakes where you can find a lot of animals. But yeah. Okay. All right. You don't have to tell us that, but it's okay if you want to share that with you. Share that with us on Facebook. But okay. All right. So now, guys, Next step, we are going to make a sound for the player, so the player will know that what is happening. So we are going to put a good sound for him and for all the other players. Okay, so what we are going to do is to hit here in Add. We are going to scroll down until sound effects, and in sound effects we are going to select player turn on sound effects. Okay, and the sound effect that we are going to use, or that if you want to use the same as me, you are going to have like different sounds, but if you want to use the same as I just select player environment and select environment number 2. That's a sound that is very similar to something when you score a goal, like this. Is the sound that you are hearing right now. All right, perfect. And now we got this covered. Now we are going to add another couple of things for the feedback. So first, we need to tell the player that scores the goal, like, hey, you scored a goal, literally, okay? So what you are going to do is just select here in Add, you are going to scroll down until it's the part that says player, and you are going to select display text to a player, okay? And when you select that one, you are going to have the next options. Player's environment that shows is goal, okay? Goal +1, that's going to be the one. So select that one, just select that one, and just put the name on it, is G, gold, and the number plus and the 1, okay? That means that it's going to do another score for the player, and just keep it like it is. And then, apart from the player, remember that this is only going to show the text to the player. We are going to display the chat for all the other players telling, hey, that player scores a goal, so you know, the players will be able to say, hey, congratulations, you made it, okay? So, now what you got to do is just to add here, player group, you are going to select that one, and you are going to select display chat info to the players. On there, you can choose to which players. So on here, on the first score, you are going to select a function, player group, and all players. And on here, we are going to do a string concatenation. So just use the same string concatenation that we made before. String concatenation, string concatenation. You use the same content that I used before. So as an example, a B on here. So you make the text link. On here, you select player name, and in here, you select the description. Also remember, if you activate a part that you can use for the different translation for the different languages, just use it right here, okay? So as you see in the screen, I have that option. I already translated. But for some reason, for some book many words, when you just change the screen, as an example, from Spanish to English, that's going to be deleted. But I already made it. You can make it too. That's up to you, okay? And then after that, you can do the next thing, okay? And this is very important. A trick that is going to be for make the game more enjoyable is to give enough time for the players to celebrate. So something I did is just to give 5 seconds to actually give the point to the player. And why I did that? So the player will be able to freely move around the scenario. As an example, just move, celebrate, and just let the other players know, like, hey, I make a score, I made a goal to you. The same team is going to be able to celebrate with the player for 5 seconds, and then the game is going to be restarted. So the trick here is to put a wait. I don't know if 5 seconds is too much, but you can select that. So just scroll down, select timer, and in timer, you are going to select waiting time, okay? So waiting time is going to be 5 seconds in my situation. You can use also 3 or 4. I highly recommend it not to do it for more than 5 seconds because it's going to be too much. And then after that, you can perform the next action. So how we are going to actually score the point, give the point in game, okay? So for most of the times I use scripts for this, but as you want to work with triggers, this is a trick that I'm going to teach you, okay? So on here, you already in the second or the first class made this, that is just next to the team score. You put this block and you put an area here, okay? So what we are going to do is to delete whatever block is in this area, and then we are going to put a lithium block. Now it's called lithium, but before it was called lithium, and that's going to activate that code, okay? that specific point. So first we are going to clear the block on there. So for doing that, just select here blocks. You are going to select a remove block. And when you select remove block, you are going to clear all the blocks in the area or the location is going to be function library, pliers, and pliers private variable. On there, you are going to select a location. The only location that is available for you is the one that says team location score. Okay, remember we already create those variables before, and that's it. Once you got it, you are going to have a that option. And now just when we delete that, now we are going to create the right block. So select block, create the block, okay? And when you create the block, you are going to create Celestium block, okay? Celestium block, once more, was used to be called or name it as Lithium block. And now it's just the same, but with another name. So we need to select that one, click on it, select template library, custom, and functional. And it is going to be the first one. That's the one that is going to give you scored for any kind of block. Okay, it works like the generator. It works the same way. Okay, so you are going to select that one. So it's the first one. Don't confuse yourself. I just was doing a double check if there is any other block that you can use. But for now, don't confuse. Let's use the first one. Okay. And the area where you are going to create it, once more, is function library, pliers, private area or location. And you are going to select once more the one that says team location. That is the only option that we create from the minicamp. If you hope to get more options, probably it's because you did another couple of triggers. And that's it. Right now, your pliers will be able to score the point, okay? So guys, next part, another problem today, but it's a pleasure. Now guys, let's continue and let's do the next part. The next part is going to be related to out of the arena, okay? So most of the times before the previous games, I always give you like a specific script that will kill the players if they get out from the room, if they get out from the playable area. But I wanted to show you how it's made also in triggers, just in case you want to use triggers. I know guys that a lot of you are like over confused with scripts and others cannot use actually triggers for some reason in some devices. When you copy and paste that, you are going to find that actually it's not allowing you to continue. It's going to be stuck. So that's why I want to teach you this. So first thing, remember that in the second or the third class, we create a specific function, okay? Or not a specific function, it was just to create some areas in this scenario. So let me switch to developer mode once more here. Just give me a second, something appears on the screen. And when you use the different areas, you are going to see that we already have one that is being called a full area, okay? So guys, the full area, it's the yellow one, the one that you see on the screen, and notice that it's covering all the playable area, okay? So all the part where the players can play with, it's going to be covered by the yellow part. And please notice that also is covering this hail. So if you get under the area, if you get outside the area or over the area, you are going to be killed. That is a way to assure that the players are going to stay in the playable area, and also that the players can push each other away from the arena. So that's something that you can add some extra features for, okay? So how do you do this? Once you got it, or remember the name of it, in my case it's being called as a full area, okay? Now, what you got to do is that we need to create a new trigger. The trigger name is going to be out of the arena, okay? That's the first thing that you need to do. You need to place a name for it, as always. And once you got it, you are going to close and you are going to scroll down to events, okay guys? So in events, we are going to add a new event. The event is going to be player. In player, you are going to move to the one that says player lives area, okay? Once you add a player lives area, we are going to just select and open the first part, and you are going to select the part that says when the player enters any or leaves any, and in the first frame, in the first box, you are going to select actually the area that you created. Okay, so let's just open that, select choose area, and in choose area, you are going to have this dialog or this UI in which you can choose which area. So you are going to select the full area that you use to cover all the scenario. Okay, now guys, very important. I see that you are doing some emojis into the chat. So now you need to select or to put a condition that this is going to be only executed when we are in the combat stage. So how do you do that? Just go to the previous one. Remember, we created gold already, so just copy, paste it, and that's it. You are going to copy and paste the condition. Now, and the actions for this one are going to be very easy, okay? Remember, first thing that we need to do is just to kill the player, okay? So as we are going to kill the player, we also are going to get some feedback. Once more, I want to be very specific on this. Guys, if you create some kind of thing that is going to kill the players, that is going to move the players, you need to always give some feedback to them. Otherwise, players are going to feel that your game is having some bugs, okay? So remember this, guys. Imagine that you are playing not anywhere, you are playing another game, and you are jumping in a platform, okay? And in some part, you need to jump in a platform, but you put like a limit on it, okay? So if players jump on there and they are going to be killed, they are going to believe that actually, if they didn't see like a damage or something, that your game is failing. But otherwise, if they actually jump in, and you put an animation like he's being hit by a lizard, or as an example, he's hitting a wall and he's going to be pushed back, and then you are going to kill the player, you are going to make an effect that is like, it's like breaking or something, and then you put a text that says you get away from the limits. The player will know for sure that that is a rule in your game, so that's what we have to do here, okay? Don't kill the players just by killing, just always explain to them why they are going to be killed, okay? So in this case, we are going to add the first action. The first action, of course, is going to be to kill the players. So just scroll down to players. You are going to select defeat players. That's going to be the first option, okay? And when you select defeat players, you are going to select which player is going to be defeated. In my case, in my scenario, is going to be, well, just a player in trigger event, okay? Now, we are going to add a sound, okay? We are not going to put that much like effects or feedback as I mentioned before, because it's a multiplayer game and well, we just need to add some actions, but we are going to add that sound and a text, okay? So the first one is going to be the sound. The sound that we are going to use for kill the player is the next one. So just hit here. You are going to scroll down, and you are going to scroll down until the part that says sound effects, and you are going to select turn sound effects on players, okay? When you select that one, you are going to just set up that. So the only thing that you need to change actually is the actual sound. The one I use when the players are going to be killed is Mark 14, is the one that you are hearing right now, okay? So let's hear it again. You can use the same I'm using right now. And also remember this, guys. I'm not going to show you this because I already teach you that on our escape map. But remember that you can use different sounds. The trick that I show you earlier about how you can do that you can make the players to avoid to get bored, because you know every time that a sound is going to be played, it's going to be a little bit different. So that's a good trick, okay? For using it, remember you only need to change the tone to a random number. Check the class about our scoring to learn how to do that, okay? Now that you add that, we are going to just show the text window to all the players with the information telling, hey, guys, all the players, this player dies, okay? So how do you do that? Just hit here. You are going to select player group. Remember, you have the two options in player and also in player group, but player group is going to show to all the players what is happening, so you are going to select player group, and in player group you are going to select the one that says display chat info to the group, okay? Now, on the information, you are going to select first to which group. You are going to select all the players, of course. And then in content, you are going to do a string concatenation. So remember, function library, concatenation, and expand that section. In the first part, you are going to put player's name, which is in function library, player and player name, okay? And then you are going to show the information to the other players. In my case, is gets out from the field. You can personalize that. So as an example, you can put the player has been killed because, I don't know, whatever you want to put on there. What I highly advise you to do is that this is going to be a big part of the game. Always show to the other players by text what is happening. Okay, in my case, just explaining to them that the player gets killed, and that's the easiest way to show it. Okay. So guys, now with this, we already finished our next trigger. Okay. So the only one that left to finish the game, and with that, I can say to you guys, we almost finished this, is the one that says reload snowballs, okay? All right, so now that we already finished that part, that I think is easy to understand, we are going to learn how to reload some bullets, okay? So the way that you are going to do it is by walking away, okay? So remember, whenever the player walks over a block, you have the option to reload a couple of bullets. So how do you do that? You are going to add a new trigger, and the new trigger name is going to be reload snowballs, okay? Very important, if you want to use a different name, it's okay, but I use this one, so if you want to just avoid to be loose or avoid to be confused, just use the same names, okay? But you can use whatever name you wanted to give it, so of course. So first thing, in event, you are going to add a new one, as we are going to check every time that the player moves. If the player is over a snow block, you are going to select moving, okay? That's going to be the first option and the easiest one. Once you got that option added, you are going to add a condition, okay? So once more, the first condition is something that we already got on here, so just copy and paste. Don't do overwork, don't do overwork here, so just copy and paste. And once you copy and paste, guys, you are going to have the next options, okay? So remember, we already are going to have the first one. Then we have to check if in the player amount of bullets is less of the max, okay? Why? Because imagine that you have a gun, you cannot actually use a gun with 35 space for the bullets, and when you reload it, you are going to have 100, and that's something that you need to avoid, okay? So how do you assure that the players are not going to get more bullets than the ones that the player needs? The easiest way is just by checking with a variable, okay? And the variable that we got is the variable that was already created, that is player max balls, okay? So how do you do that? You just hit here, add a new condition. You are going to check a numerical comparison, okay? So select numerical comparison, and in the first score, you need to check how many items the player has, okay? So just select function library, scroll down directly to players, and select number of items owned, okay? The number of items owned, you can choose which item the player is going to have. So select the number of snowballs, okay? On template library, just scroll down to custom, and in custom, remember to select the snowballs that we are going to have here, okay? So, sorry guys, let's drink a little bit of water. Okay, so now guys, now that you select the snowballs, you are going to choose here, right on the middle, what numerical comparison we are going to do. So remember, less than is going to be the one that we are going to use. So select less than, sorry. And then we need to check which variable, okay? So we already create a variable for it. The variable is being called max amount of balls. So just select here, go to function library, go to player, and choose a player's private variable, okay? Once you got it, you are going to have an option to expand the different options here. So you are going to select players in trigger event, player max balls, okay? Remember, that's the only option that we have as a private variable for values, so you are not going to be confused, but remember, this handles the max amount of bullets that the player can have, okay? Now you got this resolved. You are going to have two conditions, and the third condition is going to be almost the most important. Okay, so remember that in our game, the snow floor, it's going to be like different from the one that you have into the walls. Okay, so if you have, as an example, a snow block in the floor and the snow block in the walls, as they are going to be different, we need to check both at the same time, because otherwise you will need to have two different scripts, two different triggers. You can do, of course, that, but it's going to be easier just to do this, okay? So for checking two things at the same time, you need to act a new condition, and you are going to select the one that says OR, okay? Or will allow you to choose in between two different actions, okay? Or two different conditions. So you are going to get something like this. This part, just forget about this part. This part is not important. You are going to keep it always like yes, true. What you are going to expand is this one in the middle, and you are going to have two different like options here, okay? So the two different options are the two different conditions, and that is not working, okay? Oh, okay, guys, I see that I just copy and paste the same code, so let me... Oh, okay, yeah, it's the same one. Really sorry for that. Just at the end of the class, I'm going to give you that code, okay? So don't worry, guys. Like in a little bit. So on here, you can choose the first one or the second one. Are going to be almost the same, okay? So just do the same for each one of the different boxes here. But in the first one, it's the tricky part. You are going to be a lot confused because, okay, you can hear an airplane, so let's wait until the airplane passes through. Okay, so the airplane now is far away. Right now in the streaming, you hear a lot of things. You hear animals, you hear sounds like this small plane. Yeah, now it's already moving, okay? So on here you can be a lot confused the first time that you use this, because you're going to see that the options are not in the same location that they used to be, okay? So the first thing that you are going to do is we are going to check if the block under the floor, under the feet of the player is the same. So on here, you can find that in Word, okay? You are not going to have blocks in here, so you need to choose Word. And there is an option that says Comparison of Block. You are going to select that one. And on here, you are going to have the next options, okay? So you need to expand this one. And you are going to select Template Library, sorry, not Template Library. You are going to select Function Library. And you are going to select Word and Block of type on the specific location, okay? And then you need to put another thing on here. You need to put function library, and you need to choose location offset, okay? So this is very important, guys. Location offset, as always, is going to allow us to choose or to select an area depending of another area. So you can choose one block below that area or 2 blocks over the area, the 2 blocks at the north of the area, okay? So there are 2 options here. The option that says location offset, no changes, or with changes, okay? So we are going to use the one that says no change, okay? Select that one. And we are going to select a pen position, shift along the coordinate axis, and you are going to keep a 0 on it. That means that we are not going to move to west and east. We are going to select the altitude minus, and this is very important, minus 0.5. And the final one, that is north and south, we are going to keep it empty, okay? So with this, we are going to check the same position where the player is, but just 1 block below that, okay? Now, on this one, you already have the first part. For the second one, in the second box, you are going to put the exact same condition. So you are going to add comparison of block. Again, you are going to select type of block and location, And once you got both of them, you have to select in each one of them this part that says snow block, okay? So how do you select that? On here, block type and a specific location, you need to pick up first at the floor or the snow floor that your map gets. So in my case, it's going to be snow floor. And in the second one, you are going to do the same, but you are going to choose the block that you have under your walls. That is the snow floor, okay? And with this, you already have this covered. That means that whenever I walk over the snow, even if it's the wall or even if it's the block in the floor, you are going to have the option to recharge your gun, okay? Now, what will be the next action? The next action will be here to first just give one block to the player, okay? So, the way you do it is just click in here, click in player, and in player you are going to add an item, guys, okay? So, item I'm going to add, of course, is a snowball, so just select one, select template library, you scroll down, you select custom, and you select the snowball. That is one of the main parts of our game, okay? So, once you select that, of course, as always, we already covered the part, but we are going to give some feedback to the players as always. You remember, guys, the difference between a good map and a normal map is most of the times the feedback. So with the feedback, the player is going to know that it's recharging, it's loading. The way you do it is just for it as a sound. The sound, you need to scroll down, sound effect, and you are going to play a sound effect on players. The one I'm using is footstep. Number 2 is something that is very, how I can call it. It's not that much loud. It's something that is very moderate in sound. It's the sound that you're hearing right now. Probably need to pause the music because it's not very loud, so you won't be able to hear it. But it's this one. Guys, as you realize, it's a sound that is like very moderate. Once more. But will the players the players are not going to know that they are reloading, okay? And then what I show to them is a text, okay? The text I'm using is something simple. Just hit here, select player, and select display text to the player. The sound I'm using, guys, is the text I'm using is this one that says you get one snowball, okay? So the players are going to know that actually they are reloading, okay, guys? So right now for you guys, we already finished the class with this one. Congratulations, guys! You already will have a map that can be playable. That is from the style that I showed you. It's a snowball fighting with some elements about building your strength. Okay. Now, guys, I'm going to start answering questions in the 15 minutes that we left. And I'm going to give you the codes that left. So as I realize that some of the codes are not working fine, so don't worry, I'm going to give you new ones for those, okay? For now, guys, I highly advise to copy the next one, the one that I'm going to show you. That is this one, okay? This is a permanent code, so it's going to be very important, guys. This code is going to be very useful, okay? So I just put it in the chat, and I just going to take the time also to read you in the chat, okay? Once more, just 1 second here. Let me read you, okay? How many people is the code for? So depends of the code. Most of the codes are going to be up for 15 people. And welcome PKTL. So yeah, the code is up max to 15 people. Okay. All right. Welcome Nugent, Bantuan also. All right, guys. So right now we already resolved that part. I don't know if you have questions, guys. There is something that you need to do, how to do it, or yeah, you need to specifically want to show me how it works, so I will be able to help you out. If you do, just let me know into the comments, so I will be able to provide you all the help that you need. Okay. Of course, something that I forgot, guys, and very important. If you realize that some specific triggers are executing, as an example, the bullet triggers are executing right now, what you need to do is the next thing, okay? And very important, guys. this is very important. This is something that we need to change, so it's going to work fine. But you are going to have some errors, okay? So first thing that we need to correct, guys, remember that we delete the previous one that was this one, and we replace it by this, okay? So when you do that, something that you need to do is after that, we will need to redirect this, okay? So what I need you to do is to just go to main system, go to ini combat, and in ini combat, you are going to have this part, and it's going to be in orange, okay? So you need to reselect that. So you need to reopen this. You need to select trigger, and you need to scroll down to combat stage, and you need to reselect that. That is very important, guys, okay? So you are going to reselect inventory combat, otherwise it's not going to give you the items, okay? Now, apart from that, remember that Miniword has like a bug or error that every time that you add here, the option to turn off all the trigger sets is not going to work. We need to update that, okay? The way that you can update to be sure that it's going to work fine is that you need to go to ini boolean, to this one. You are going to scroll down, and in the part that says change boolean stage on, you need to select it, you need to click on, and you need to keep it on, and then you need to reselect this. I know that it already says boolean stage, but you need to redo it. So just click on it, trigger set, boolean stage, and that's it, okay? We need to also do it in combat. So you are going to scroll down, you are going to select that one, the one that says combat station. So you just need to, once more, it's already on there, but you need to re-put it on, okay? Select trigger set once more and select combat stage again. And also, you need to scroll down and you need to re-link those that you got here, okay? So once more, you have to select the one that we are going to turn off to trigger set, and once more, you need to just select the same for each one, okay? And that is going to update and is going to make the game work fine, okay? Also for this one, just go to upgrade blocks, trigger set, and upgrade blocks. And also for the final one, okay? Remember, guys, this needs to be done every time that you add or change something in that folder, okay? So once more, go to trigger set and select downgrade blocks. With this, now it's going to work fine. There are some common errors that I almost forgot to tell you, okay? So Basti Soriano says thanks. Okay, so not a problem.